In this video, I will be talking about stocks and or money management. Please keep in mind that I am not a financial advisor. The strategies and the money decisions that I implement are based on my personal financial situation and my goals. How I decide to invest and manage my money may not be the correct strategy for you. You should not take anything said during this video or on the website www.wealthinspiredstudenteducation.com as financial advice. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. All right, so this is that first account I talked about. So you see here, the number one, I have this sorted by total gain, percentage gain. So you see that the Tesla has given me a 700% return on my investment. I've made $94,000. I have 126 shares in this account. The average price paid. Now, this stock did split. It did a 5-for-1 split. But so this is all post split numbers. So average price paid $104. Now it's worth there's 852 a piece. And so the value of the stock is 107,000. Now, here's what I will say about Tesla. A lot of people are getting into EV stocks. Neo, Xpeng, Lucid, Workhorse, all these other companies, and everyone's trying to find the next Tesla. And what I tell people is, if you're looking for the next Tesla is Tesla. All right, Tesla has gone up quite a bunch. All right. By the way, so what you're looking at right now, make this a little bigger. What you're looking at right now is all the times that I bought the stock, right? So this was 2018. This was the very first time. So 5 shares at $57. Now, I didn't buy 5 shares at $57. Again, there was a stock split. So that split happened right around here. So you see now I started buying 1 share. So all these fives are really one. This 15 is 3 shares. This 50 is 10 shares. All right. And so I bought 1 share there. So it was 1 share at 200. So this has to go down divided by 5. So it was 1 share. This has to be times by 5. This was the value. So I bought 1 share at $288. Right. So, and that was that. And that was all I bought. If you notice, the next time I bought another share was 5 months later. Right. So I saved up some money, put some money aside, and then I bought another share. 5 months later in September, right before my birthday. And then I bought another share on the 10th, another one on the 11th. So again, we're not talking about, so I'm showing you this because a lot of people will go, wow, $100,000, you must have invested a ton of money, and started with, a bunch of money to begin with. No, I bought a share here, a share there, and it was I knew Tesla was going to go up in the long run, and I know it's going to go up more as we go. So you can see all that here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'll do another video on it because I want to get through some of my other picks. But again, 1 share, 1 share, 1 share, 1 share, 3 shares, 1 share, 1 share, 1 share, 1 share. Right. This 10 share, I'll say this. So I bought 10 shares here. This was in was that November of 2019. And the reason I bought 10 shares there was because the Cybertruck was coming out, and I was like, this thing's going to be amazing and it's going to be awesome, and the stock is going to shoot up. And literally the stock the next day went like it fell right through the roof because for different reasons. But I didn't sell the shares, right? So a lot of people, they buy, I know a lot of people, they buy a stock because they hear about it, it's exciting, it's going up, and then it goes down, it dips after. You have to understand, if a stock is going up, all right, when you hear about it, then there's going to be people that are going to take profit because somebody probably bought it before you. And if they bought it at 10 and it's now at 20, they've doubled their money, and you're hearing about it, you're like, oh man, it just went up to 20. Let me get in. All right. Well, you're late to the party. All right. So now it goes to 25. That person who bought it at 10 might say, okay, let me sell now because I've made $15 a share. And you're like, you're there and you're like, okay, it went up $5, and then it starts dropping because people start selling. Understand that the stock market is a zero-sum game. If somebody's selling it, somebody's buying it, and somebody's buying it, somebody's got to be selling it. All right. There's a certain number of shares that are out there. Somebody's buying, somebody's selling. Okay. So if you're buying, that means somebody is selling at that price, right? So therefore, just understand that. So that person's like, I'm getting out. You're like, I'm getting in. So the key to this is you want to be there before it goes up. Okay. So if you times all these by five, you notice what I was buying the shares at, let's say 250, just a simple math, but 250, 250, 250, 250. This was maybe, let's say $300 a share there. Um, what is this, 200? So I was a 300, then all the way down to 200. So I was buying, went down again to like 250. Actually 50 is 250. So this was still under maybe 225 here. 300. So again, and by the way, I know it sounds like I'm buying a lot though, but again, this is March, September. So it's months between these purchases, right? So, and I just accumulated it as time goes on. All right. You don't have to have a bunch of money and then buy a whole bunch of one stock at one time. All right. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, why is Tesla? So, let me tell you this. Why is Tesla going to, is it too late to get to the party? Right. I just told you sometimes it's too late. Tesla, it's not too late. All right. So, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to invest in Tesla. It's already split, right? So, at 850, $850 times 40, excuse me, $852 times 5. Oops. All right. So really the stock is, before the split, it's really at $4,000 right now. All right. But it's split. So now it's 800. So $4,000 a share is a lot. All right. So you might say to yourself, well, it might be too late to get into it. So you always want to be looking into the future. Right. So where is Tesla now? Where are they going? Can they be, can you make money? Will the company grow in the future? So let me pull this back up. So I wrote this out. I just text messaged it to myself. So here are, right now, Tesla, it makes up a very small percentage of the car market that's out there. All right. But here are all the potential revenues over the next 5 years. Not, let me rephrase, not potential revenues. These are the definite revenues. All right. So Model 3, one of the best selling cars in its class right now. The Model Y, which just started selling. They not understand with Tesla, number one, they sold 500,000 cars last year. They sell every single car that they make. Every single car that they make is sold. Right? There are no dealerships sitting around with a bunch of Teslas floating around, right, in it, right, waiting to be sold. So understand that. The only thing that's constricting them is that they can't make enough cars. They only have one and a half plants. They have a half a gigafactory in Reno, Nevada, and they have the plant in Fremont. All right, so that's it, just those two. Now they also just ramped up the China Shanghai plant, and they're selling every car they possibly can there. So like anybody who wants a car in, like, say, Europe, all right, it has to be made before China was made. It had to be made in Fremont, California, and shipped all the way to Europe. So it took time. A lot of people bought it because it just took so long to get there. And they still have a very huge market share there. So now they are building Giga Berlin. So they will have another massive, massive factory in Berlin, which they're estimated to have a production of about 2 million cars a year coming out of there. And they're making another plant that's supposed to be bigger than both of those in Texas, in Austin, Texas. So I want to remind you, every single car that Tesla makes is sold. So just because you don't see a lot of them now, understand it's just because they haven't been able to make enough of them. All right. So that's, understand that. So now, model, by the way, they have no advertising. All right. So they sell every single car without any advertising. The way they advertise Teslas is somebody buys one and then they go and they take all their friends and make them drive their car, and everyone says my next car is going to be one of these. That's how good they are. If you've never test driven a Tesla, I would highly recommend you do so. But anyway, Model 3, that's their sedan. Model Y, which is like um their less expensive um SUV kind of car. Model S and X. Model S just got a refresh. It looks incredible. Look it up, actually. No, I can't. By the way, some people say I can't afford a Tesla. So here's Tesla's website. All right, here's the standard range. A standard range Tesla goes for 37.9. Okay, that's the cost to get the basic model. It's 46.9. So let's say 47,000 for the long range version. Now, this doesn't show the potential savings though, because like for example, I live in New York. So in New York, there's a $500 rebate for new cars over $60,000. That's not over $60,000. There's a $2,000 rebate for new cars based under $60,000. So you would get another 2 grand off of this car, right? And that's not calculating the gas savings because charging the car from your house is than much cheaper than buying gasoline, right? Not to mention you don't have to do oil changes. You don't have to get transmission fluid. There is no transmission. So if you any of you have heard your transmission blow and you know how much money that costs. So the value of these cars is stays very high. So when you throw in all that extra savings, you're talking about 31 to $40,000 for these cars. All right. So people think when they think Tesla, they think these cars are like so super expensive, but they really aren't. And more people are learning that as time goes on. I talk to people all the time, they're like, I can't afford it. I go, you have a you've bought in a 30 or 40, you're driving around a $30,000 car now. All right. So, even if you're buying, even if you're at like an $18,000 car. All right. You take this one, you put in all the potential savings. Plus, Biden now in office has said there used to be a $7,500 tax credit for these cars, and he might reinstate that. It was each company, once they hit a certain threshold of sales, I think it was like the first 200,000 cars that they sold, then that tax credit got reduced and it went away. Tesla has already reached that threshold. So if that tax credit's given back to Tesla, um, you're talking about 31,000 minus another seven. So now you're down to $24,000 for a Tesla. And if you're here, you're at 33 for the long range, and you're seeing the specs here. All right, so that's with savings. When you're talking about purchase price, let's say $30,000, and then I take out the tax credits if you just had the federal tax credit come back. So these are not, if you're like, oh, I could never buy one, people can't buy them, they're too expensive. That's just simply not true. Okay. And it might cost you a little more upfront, but the actual savings of all the maintenance and everything you have to deal with definitely will save you more in the long run. Anyway, so you don't have to buy a Tesla. Well, maybe you will in the future, but I'm just letting you know. All right, the Model S and X. I'm going to fly through this because this video is already getting too long. Supercharging network. Okay, so they you are you when you buy a Tesla, they're charging you for the electricity. So if you don't charge at home, let's say you want to go on a long trip and you want to stop at a supercharging network, you pay for the electricity there. Now again, it's cheaper than gas, but Tesla is making that money. So we're talking about the revenue of this company, all right? So now they're making money on the car. You buy the car, they make money, right? Every time you go fuel up, they also make money. Like that doesn't happen for GM or Toyota. Like they don't have Toyota gas stations, right? So the supercharging network that they have already all over the country is going to be a source of revenue for them. All right, solar panels. All right, so they have a whole solar division. I'm not going to go through that as far as that goes. So, but they have a whole solar division. And they just started doing more installs. So there's money there. Power walls. All right. So when you have for power outages to have a backup battery, people are buying that. It's one of their, it's growing, another growth area. So Cybertruck, right? Cybertruck is coming. I wonder if I can get a picture of the Cybertruck. Let me go back here. Cybertruck. Right. We don't know the exact numbers, but there are anywhere between 800,000 to over a million pre-orders on the Cybertruck. Now, as far as the Cybertruck goes, it looks different. So people are like, oh my God, looks weird. I think it looks freaking badass. The reason why it looks this way is because this frame, it has an exoskeleton. So the structure of the truck is this steel. This steel is stainless steel. So it doesn't rust. All right. So anybody who's a truck owner, you have problems with dings and rusts and all that kind of stuff. So this doesn't rust, right? It's bulletproof. The glass is bulletproof, right? Um, so this is a monster uh truck. Right. Also and now you have the whole bottom is the batteries. You can plug your power tools into it. You can also, this, it has a what's called the vault. So it has a roll down. The bed's back here and says rolls down. So then you can actually climate control in here. So if you go camping, you can literally sleep in the bed of the truck and you can have it all climate controlled, and you're not going to kill yourself because there's no gas fumes being done by this truck. It's electric, right? Um, anyway, I don't have time. Okay. So this is revenue. All right. We're just talking about revenue of this company. Why should you, is the stock going to go up in the future? All right. Semi truck. Okay. Tesla's making electric semi trucks on top of this. Now, these are 200,000 to $250,000 a piece. Um, and so they're going to have these trucks. The drag efficiency is ridiculous. The 0 to 60 is ridiculous. So upgrade speed up a 5% grade. So these trucks, if you've ever been next to a truck, okay, like and it slowly starts going. Not these suckers, right? So these things are uh, ridiculously faster, ridiculously. Look at the fuel savings, right? As far as that goes, because you're charging it as opposed to buying all the diesel gas. All right, so you can look at the specs on this, but like Walmart already ordered 1,000 of these. The more that they come out, the more they see them. Uh, it's you have much better vision for the truck drivers, all that kind of stuff. So that's a whole nother market that they are getting into. They haven't even tapped into yet. They'll be selling that. Roadster 2, is that in here? Come on, tell me it is. Roadster. Look at this bad boy. Look at that. All right. So this will be the fastest car on the road. All right. 0 to 60 in less than 1.9 seconds. All right. So, um, yeah. So this is some crazy stuff. All right. So, as far as this car is going, it's going to be $250,000. This is going to blow away Bugattis and Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff. So this is coming out. This isn't even, oh, people out in the snow already. This is another source of revenue that they're not even planning on getting this done until 2022 when they start making these. And what rich car collector isn't going to want one of those, right? Now let's get to the full self-driving. All right, full self-driving upgrades. Let me show you. Let me show you. All right. We're gonna do this real quick. Tesla. FSD beta. Dear. All right. So this is a quick. Let me do the 1 minute. This is what you're seeing on there. It's seeing all this stuff. Look at this car. He's not driving this at all. Audio's horrible. So it's picking up all the lines, all the markers. Let's see. Hopefully there's a deer coming up soon. Oh, there was a little deer. It showed up on the side here. Oh, there it is. Car stopped. This guy is not driving it at all.
Hey, don't do that. Hey, stay off the street, God.
All right. So this is This is what's going on out there. So that's so full self-driving, just so you know, when full self-driving comes along and people can have their own robo taxis, uh, it's an upgrade. It's a $10,000 upgrade right now, but people will get it, right? So you'll turn it on because you just literally will sit in your car. You don't have to be tired from traffic. You can sit and actually do other things. You can be productive. You can play games, which we'll talk about. Actually, I don't even have the gaming in here. Um, but this is all revenue, right? So I'm not going to go through much of this, but so everyone that has a Tesla right now, when full self-driving beta comes out, when it's not a beta anymore, when it comes out and you can do it, you literally pay your money and it's an upgrade. So it's an automatic $10,000 to $15,000 um, source of revenue for this company, and they're not selling a new car. It's just data. They're just a package. It's an upgrade, right? So that's something. Tesla insurance, all right. So now Tesla has its own insurance company because what they do is they're tracking all of the way you drive, right? So insurance companies have to reduce. They guess on your I can't think of what the name of them are, actuaries, right? So they guess your risk based on your age and other factors, and then they can then for and then you have your insurance, but your insurance rates, you see Geico, you see all these commercials. Tesla is going to be cheaper because they're not going to have any commercials. They're going to have better data. The cars are going to be safer already because if you're texting and driving, if you're drunk and driving, you don't have to drive. The car will drive itself with the full self-driving upgrade. So the insurance can be dirt cheap. If there is an accident, they have cameras all around so they can tell if it's your fault or if it's somebody else's fault. So they could fight that in court and whatnot. And so they will know what your driving habits, right? So if you're speeding all the time, there'll be an update that tells you, hey, based on your driving habits, your insurance is going to go up unless you stop, driving so fast, right? So they're going to have, and you, let's say you go buy the car. So now you go buy the car and they say, okay, they're getting paid on the gas, on the electricity. There's no gas. And it's like you have a full self-driving upgrade, which is an additional $10,000 to $15,000. Would you like that? That's another source of revenue. And then on top of that, you're going to buy the insurance. Wouldn't you buy the insurance? Yes. While you're there buying the Tesla, you can get cheaper insurance because we don't advertise and we have better numbers and better insight into how Tesla drivers drive. Would you like to sign up for Tesla insurance too with the car as opposed to going through one of these other vendors? Sure. All right. So imagine GM or Toyota, or you go buy a Cadillac and there's Cadillac gas stations, Cadillac insurance. Like that doesn't exist, right? Well, it does exist with Tesla. Megapacks utilities, I'm not even going to bother. Okay. They make huge giant batteries that they're going to sell utility companies. Actually, I'll bother really quickly. So, um, you have a so when you have a peak time when everyone turns, let's say it gets really hot and everyone turns their air conditioner on at the same time, what happens is if there's too much draw on the power plant, you want your electricity right away, so they have to fire up what's called a peaker plant, right? And that has to fire up, but it takes a lot of energy to get this thing going, and it costs a lot of money just to take up the demand. So what Tesla is making is these mega packs, these utility battery stations. So when there's peak demand, then instead of firing up another plant, burning all this gas and oil to compensate, um, and costing the utility tons of money, this battery will be able to discharge energy immediately during those peak times. And they've already been selling this to utilities in different countries, and they're working on one in California. V2G order bidder. So eventually you'll be able to sell. So let's say you have solar panels on your roof, you have a Tesla car. Now you have all this stored energy in your car. Now let's say instead of the utility needs energy, right? There's a peak. You say, look, I don't need a full tank, full charge on my car. It goes 300-400 miles. I'm only driving back and forth to work 50 miles a day. I'll sell some of this energy, and you could sell the energy out of your car to your utility company, and then they pay you for it. So your car is making you money while it's just sitting in your garage, right? So, and guess what? Tesla will give you that software for free, and Tesla is going to take a little bit of revenue off you selling energy back to the utility grid. Another source of income. Model 2 coming out, okay? The $25,000 car. So we talked about all the other stuff in China. The Model 2, I don't know if it's going to be called the Model 2, but it's the $25,000 car is going to be coming out in China, and then it will be coming out here short afterwards. So now for everyone is like, well, that car doesn't even exist yet, but it's going to. And now you take the tax incentives and everything. Now you're down to 20 to $18,000 for an electric car that potentially could have full self-driving upgrades to it. In-car app services. Tesla has its own games, as when you're not driving the car, what are you going to do? Right? So you have all these apps, you can watch Netflix, you can have it has its own streaming service that you pay for in the car. They have Starlink, so they have their own internet service for your car. So you can charge your other things, or not charge your things, run your other devices and use your car as a hotspot. All right. So now all these in-app services, you buy games, you want to play games in there, you want to watch a movie, you can, all these services are going to be revenue for Tesla. None of, by the way, 3 and Y are barely being recognized yet. S and X are probably fully recognized as far as the revenue there. Supercharging network is not fully none of these are fully even done. Cybertruck's not out yet. Semi truck's not out yet. Roadster's not out yet. The full self driving upgrade is not out yet. Tesla insurance is only in California. Mega packs are only to one or two companies. Auto bidder's not available yet. All right. These are all coming, all coming. So what's going to happen to the revenue of Tesla? Let me keep going. The Model 2 car isn't even done yet. All right. In-app services, not there yet. Well, they're there, but not to the extent that they're going to, and they're not charging people yet for them. All right, but they will. Okay. Owner rideshare without FSD. So Uber, Lyft going away. All right. So you'll be able to drive on the Tesla network, and you can be an Uber and Lyft driver with your Tesla car. I mean, there you go. Now that's without full self-driving. Now, let's say you buy a $25,000 car, you get the full self-driving package, and you can have rideshare with your car um, when it drives itself, right? So you literally take your car, put it on the Tesla network. Right? People are going to buy two or three cars if they can. Okay, I'll buy one for myself, and I'll have my other two cars driving around as Ubers on their own. Okay, the most expensive part of the Lyft or the Uber is the driver. The most annoying part of Lyft and Uber is the driver. Okay, who wants to talk to you, who has bad BO, who's doesn't know how to drive properly. You know, so now you eliminate that expense. Now am I going to take an Uber and a Lyft that's going to cost me more money and I have to deal with the driver, or I can have a much safer driver, meaning the autopilot, and I could pay a lower fare, and Tesla's going to make money off that, and the driver, the owner of the car is going to make money. So this is why it's just imagine how much revenue that is. Think of how big Uber is, and now it's gone, and all that revenue is in Tesla. All right. And then it might get to the point where Tesla doesn't even sell cars anymore because they'll make so much money off of the Tesla fleet is that you won't even be able to buy a Tesla. They'll make more money by keeping the Tesla and having it drive around on its own than selling it to you, which would be interesting. I got to buy my Tesla soon before they stop selling them completely. All right. This is all the definite things that are coming in the next 5 years. All right. And as I just went through a second ago, almost maybe two or three of them are the revenue that they're actually realizing right now. What's going to happen in 5 years when all these things are going and the Berlin factory is up and the Austin factory is up and the Shanghai factory is fully operational, and who knows if they'll build some more factories in the meantime. All right, and then this is just all. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna cut this off in a minute because I'll end with Tesla. But they've announced. Well, they've said that they're going to look into doing a bus, a delivery van. Most importantly, home and heating and AC. They have to. Tesla created its own, has its own patents on its own heating and cooling for the car because it's not using gas. It's an electric, so it's a completely different system, all right, that cools the car and heats the car. So they're going to turn that into what you can use in your house, and it'll be 100 times more efficient. I mean, 100, maybe 10 times more efficient than the air conditioning, the big giant thing that you got going on right now that that makes your bills go crazy. Um, and the same thing with the oil and gas that people use. So those bills are going to go down. So who's not going to get? So I go buy the car, I buy the solar panels from Tesla, I'm buying the electricity from Tesla, I'm buying the insurance from Tesla, and I'm heating in my home from Tesla. And an extra energy I make on my house, I'm selling back to the grid. I'm making some money, and Tesla's making money there too. I'm not going to go into these. The vertical rise airplane they've talked about, Starlink. I don't have time. Licensing out all this stuff to other car manufacturers is another source of revenue. So this is all the revenue that they are, and we're only realizing like 20% of it maybe at this point. So that is why I say the next Tesla is Tesla. All right, so I'm going to cut this there as far as the Tesla stock, and and that is why I continue to buy Tesla stock. Okay, even after the split, it is my. I don't plan on selling any Tesla stock for at least until 2030, and I don't care what the price. I don't care if Tesla stock price goes down to $400 a share. By the way, if it does, if the market crashes and it goes back down to $300 a share, I will do everything in my power. Okay, I will sell everything I own to buy as much as possible, and that's the benefit of being a long-term investor in something. If you're a long-term investor, if it goes up, you're happy because you're making money. If it goes down, you're happy because now you can buy more at a lower price. And this conviction is what I have in this Tesla stock. So let me just say that. So that's the shares I have in that account. Probably logging me out because I've been talking for so long. So here's the other account. Oh, here it finally went. So it's my third highest in the account that was started in August. Okay, so these I have 16 shares here. I bought them since August, so in the last 6 months. All right, and they've gone up 139%. So from 355 is my average buying price. Now it obviously 852. Right, and then I have in the account that I started in March. Obviously, the first thing I bought was Tesla. All right, it's not as high, still 129%. I only have 7 shares in here. All right, so this is the account that I've invested, let's say $6,000 in, um, but in 10 months. All right, so that's what Tesla's been doing. All right, let me cut this here. I know it's been long. um, Now, well, one last thing I'll say is the reason I'm so invested in this is because I know so much about this company. I researched it. I know all that list I just showed you. I made that up. All right. So I have that kind of conviction. You need to have that kind of conviction in a stock in order to stay in it as it goes in dips and goes up and down. All right, because it's going to go up and down. So if you're a long-term investor and you have conviction in your product and your company, because when things go down, everybody says, "Oh, I'm losing money. Don't do it. Don't buy it. Whatever." And I was like, "I don't care. You do what you want with your money." All right. Just like when people tell me the stock's going up, I got to get in. You got to get in. You got to get in. I'm like, unless I research it, I'll listen to what you say, but I don't buy things just based on what other people say. I'll listen, I'll consider what they say, but I base it on my research, and as you should as well. And this might be part of your research, hopefully. All right, so let me cut it here, and then I'll be back with another video to go through the rest of my stocks. If you would like to support me and the channel and would like to get up to 4 free stocks, you can sign up with Webull so you can start your stock investing. There should be a link below or on the WISE website. You get 2 stocks just for opening an account, and you get 2 more stocks for funding it with $100. So you can get some pretty cool stocks for free, and I hope all of your investments are wise ones.